Ready for a tour beyond houses? I'm Tami Neuberger, your go-to real estate expert with eXp Realty. And today we're taking a deep dive into the vibrant life of Moore County. We're going on an exclusive journey to uncover local treasures and meet incredible individuals that make Moore County truly unique. From real estate insights to thriving local businesses, we're covering it all. And guess what? I have an exciting surprise for you. Today we're at a place where the heart of the community shines through every aspect. Here, passion meets purpose, offering us a unique glimpse into what makes Moore County so special. But before we embark on this adventure, leave me a comment and let me know where you're from and what business you want to hear more about. Now let's make sure you're all set to join me on many more. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and smash that like button, and dive into the world of living in Moore County with me. Have you been to the best bakery in town? DeLucia's. They haven't been open very long, but we're out in West End today. DeLucia's Bakery. I'm interviewing Deana and Chelsea about their business and how they got started. I wish I had smell-o-vision because I'm in the kitchen while they're baking and doing this interview. And I'm also baking. I made a BABKA, which is a Jewish bread. It's chocolate with raisins in it. So it kind of tastes like a brownie and bread mixed together. It's awesome. So if you haven't checked them out, stop in, like our channel, subscribe so that you see all our latest videos, and leave a comment. Let them know what you were here and bought. Let's go check it out. Hi everybody, Tami Neuberger with Living in Moore County, and today we're at DeLucia's Bake Shop with Deana and Chelsea, which she won't be on camera, but we're in the kitchen, special back view of what goes on in the back of the bakehouse. So, can you tell us how you got started, what you do, where you're located?
Sure. So we got started, well, this came about in my last 2 or 3 years on active duty. And I was actually working for Chelsea in a bakery. And I had asked my boss if he minded if I worked at a bakery part-time since I was getting ready to retire. And fun fact, if I was late for work or something, because I'd go in before work at like 4 a.m., I would just bring him something I made. And I'd be like, oh, sorry I'm late, sir. I was waiting for this to get out of the oven for you.
Nice.
And over the course of the time, he kept saying, Carl's Lucia, you need to open a bakery. And I was like, bakeries don't make any money. And then I ended up getting medically retired. I was medically retired after 23 years. And because I was medically retired and I was able to, and they gave me the disability, I was able to open this with Chelsea because I'm not getting paid.
Right.
So my retirement and my disability helps offset my living. And so I was like, well, it's possible. So my last week in the bakery with Chelsea, I said, hey, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? I know you don't like corporate life. What are you going to do? And she said, well, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And I said, come over to the bakery with me. And she said, yeah, you're funny. And I said, no, serious. And here we are. That's like 4 years later.
Wow.
So we started, I had already been planning it, but I was looking for a solid business partner who had a good work ethic, a good personality, and I knew had baking and decorating experience. And she was the perfect business partner. So we started planning. I retired. After a little less than a year after I retired, I went home to visit my family in Florida for 2 days, and I ended up staying for 7 months. My dad passed away while I was there, and I stayed to help my mom. And we came back. I came back in November. I started doing a little bit out of another great local business out of Homegrown in Bass. And I worked, they let me bake out of there for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And this place popped up in January, and we opened April 14th.
Wow.
So it's been a very big whirlwind since I got back from Florida.
Right.
That's
Wow.
how we ended up here.
Can you share some history and insight and how long you've been in the community here out in West End?
Sure. So I got stationed at Fort Bragg in 2007. And then between deployments, back and forth. And then I left in 14 to go to California. And when I came back in 18, I came back deployed. And when I retired, before I retired, I actually had 2 spine surgeries. And I was doing physical therapy out here. And I fell in love with the area. So I was like, well, you know, if I had known about this, maybe I would have moved there sooner. But actually, because of COVID and everything else, and I was driving out here, I really enjoyed the area. And then I found out, like, when the governor changed the rules about military retirees not having to pay taxes on retirement for state, I was like, well, I guess I'll stay in North Carolina, because that was one of the reasons I was going to go back to Florida.
Right.
So
right.
I stayed, and the price of gas got stupid at one point a couple of years ago, and I was driving out here so much I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So I found a realtor, and I said, hey, find me a place to live out here. And we found the absolute perfect house. I live in Carthage. I've got more than a couple of acres, and I absolutely love being out here. I'm close enough to anything within a 15-minute drive, but I'm so far enough removed that I just sit out on my back porch when I actually have time, and just enjoy seeing all the woods and the birds chirping. And so I love it out here.
Right.
My parents came out for a visit before my dad passed away, and they were like, "There's nothing here. It's the middle of nowhere." And
I can relate.
but that's what I wanted. But I wanted to be close enough where if I needed to go to a store, I could, and I could still get a food delivery.
Right.
So I absolutely love the balance of being in the middle of nowhere and still being able to get stuff done. Right. It's a great balance out here.
It is definitely a good balance. What challenges have you faced along the way?
Bakery-wise, so we had a little family party on April 14th, which happens to be the day somebody in this room hatched. And we had a little soft opening party. And, you know, going into business is hard because you just, you know, I retired from the military with no debt.
Yeah. And
here I am eating ramen again like I was in college. You know, not taking any pay yet because, you know, we don't have any money yet.
Right.
But the reality is that the biggest challenge we have is it's a terrible problem to have. We never realize how hungry people in West End are.
Mm-hmm.
We were hoping, let's say we were hoping to make $5 a day just to keep the doors open. We've got lines out the door on the weekends. We just hired our first person, Michelle. You know, we're trying to hire a part-time baker's apprentice. We thought this would be stuff we'd have to do in a year. And our biggest challenge is Moore County is hungry and they like us and we love them. So we're way ahead of where we thought we would be. Right. We've only been in business about 40 days.
Wow. That's a good problem.
It's a great problem to have. I never in my wildest dreams. So we have to explain, and I do a lot of social media intentionally because you walk in, you don't realize that we haven't been here for a couple of years.
Right.
You think we've been here and we're established and lines are out the door, and the reality is that Chelsea and I are still in what we consider a soft opening. We have not even scratched the surface on our planned menu. We're still doing individual desserts for people. We're just touching bread. We're working on recipes. We haven't done any cakes yet except for special orders. Like, we are literally just feeding Moore County with individual pastries and desserts. Wow. So we are what we consider still in a soft opening. So we tell people, if you're in a hurry, if you're antsy, if you don't have patience, don't come.
Right.
We're not ready for you. So I look at it as until my grand opening, it's my rules.
Right.
We don't have set hours. We share our hours on our Facebook page. We have a pattern we've been working, but that's subject to change at our discretion.
Okay.
Our prices are not locked in. We're learning. We're working with different distributors, and we're trying to decide how to get the best quality at the best price.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my personal goals is always to give a great quality, and I want anyone to be able to shop in my bakery. I don't want someone who might be on the lower socioeconomic scale to be like, oh, I can't afford to go in there.
Right.
I want everyone to be able to enjoy what I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a soft opening, and we try to remind people that all the time. So that is a challenge because some people get very upset on the weekends because there's a line out the door and I only have one cash register.
Right.
I called the company and said, hey, can I get a second cash register? And they said, well, normally we make businesses wait a year based on their sales. I said, look at my sales. And then they are like, all right, we'll send you another cash register because I'm like, I get 80 people in here on a Sunday and I only have one register. So it's a terrible problem to have. But we're trying really hard to learn as fast as we can.
Right.
We're trying really hard to learn quick. We're taking advice. We take feedback. A lot of people come in and say things like, well, you don't have signs on your products. Well, my answer is we never expected to not have time to sit down and write signs.
Right.
Like, we're trying to keep up with the desire of what people want. I don't want somebody to ever come in here and me not, if I don't have their first option because I sold out, I want to have their second.
Right.
So I would rather spend my time making their product than writing a sign.
Right.
So
where's that balance coming from?
We're blown away at how popular we are.
Mm-hmm.
We were told this was not going to be a good area to put a bakery in. And in my opinion, I felt like I know my products, I know my skills, I know Chelsea's.
Right.
I kind of felt like, well, if we build it, they'll come.
Mm-hmm.
We hear people say, I came all the way from Pinehurst, and we're like, that's 8 miles away. But we understand it could be a bit of a pain to come all the way out here. There's septic out here, that's a challenge.
Right.
So we're not on a sewer system, a typical sewer system.
Right.
So that could be an issue for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we said, you know what? We're just going to jump in. We have been looking for a space for 2 years.
Wow. So
that's what took us so long to get out here. We waited 2 years to find a location. And then when this popped up, we jumped on it. And we just said, that's it. We found a place that was semi-restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a restaurant in here. So we said, okay, we don't have to do all the plumbing. We don't have to do all of this. And we said, all right, we're just jumping.
Right.
And it's been insane. Like, in my wildest dreams.
Wow.
Like, I am so grateful to be. I actually wanted to move to West End. And because we had a plan for where the bakery was supposed to be, I chose where I live. And that location fell through. And now I kick myself every day because I wanted to live out here in the first place. Right. Now I have a 10-minute drive. It's not a big deal. But I wanted to be a little bit north of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So that's our big challenge is we get some people who don't understand, who don't follow social media, so they come in and they get upset with us.
Yeah.
The other big challenge I have, the biggest challenge I have customer-wise, other than wanting to make sure I'm able to support everything they want, is people think I'm a bagel shop.
Oh.
I am not a bagel shop. So we get customers on the weekends who will get very angry at me, or during the week, we open at 7 Monday through Friday. If bagels aren't out of the oven, as soon as my doors open, some people get upset. Yeah. And I have to remind people, I'm a bakery.
Right.
I I'm not making anybody breakfast. There's no bacon, egg, and cheese on your bagel. People asked us to purchase cream cheese packets, and we did. We purchased knives for people to cut their bagels.
Right.
And I promise you, I will never guarantee you a bagel at 7 a.m. when my door's open or at 9 on the weekends, because I'm a bakery.
Right. So with that said, because I've been dying to ask and find out,
Yeah.
what are you making?
Right now, I am making cheese pockets. So it's a Danish. It's a nice breakfast Danish. This dough I make the cheese filling myself, and we will put these in the proof box or let them sit out for a little while. They'll get a little puffy, and we'll bake them, and it's a nice breakfast Danish to have with coffee.
Okay.
In the morning or throughout the day. But yeah, we make we are unique in that we're like a 1991 bakery. We bring in very little product. We bring in ingredients. You can scan your camera around and see there's ingredients everywhere. We don't.
There are.
We don't. We make our cakes. We do our fillings ourselves. Can I have a piece of paper right next to you, to your left? Long piece. Just pull it down. Yep.
Ooh, I'm a baker.
You are a baker now. So yeah, we make the majority of our stuff, and I love to bake. So I'm not going to give somebody something I personally would not eat. I mean, you can feel that. That's filled with cheese. Hold it.
Oh. It's heavy.
So we want to make sure our customers get the best product that we can make on site. These are smaller. Guess what? They're not going on my pan. So they'll go over here. And we make, we're like I said, we're just scratching the surface with bread. We have a couple of cakes that we're trying to get out on a regular basis. I have a 7-layer cake that I put out last week, and you know we're learning how to properly rotate our inventory so we can not make everything every day.
Right.
But we can make it. We'll make the batters, we'll make the doughs, we'll freeze them, and then we can pull it out as needed and then prep the work. As opposed to like there's bakeries, like grocery store bakeries, they don't make their stuff anymore. They get frozen cake in. And the cake's good quality. I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying that like we make our cake here.
Right.
This rack right here is full of cake batter, yellow chocolate marble cupcakes. So we make all of that on site here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask this question. It's out of my order, but what sets you apart from other bakeries in the community?
I know most of the other bakery owners in the community. Most of them are mentors of mine, actually. I think the only thing that sets us apart is we have a couple of different products and probably my attitude. Like I said, I've been mentored by a lot of the bakeries, and believe it or not, if I have questions, I'll call G Charles. If I need help with something, I'll call Pastry Mom, Heidi. Like we all work together, which is lovely. But the only thing I think that really sets us apart is like my Facebook page says, we're a bakery with like a European flair, so we do a lot of Italian stuff, we do a lot of Eastern Europe stuff, Jewish stuff, and then we do our traditional Southern stuff. And so like you'll have a pineapple upside down, and when peach season comes, hopefully we'll have a peach cobbler. But we also have sfogliatellas and cannolis that we make the cream from scratch. We have lobster tails. We have all sorts of Italian stuff. So we say we're a European bakery with a New York attitude because I am who I am. And Chelsea brings the Southern hospitality. So we've got the New York attitude with the Southern hospitality to provide the best service we can. But I'm not going to apologize for who I am.
great mix. Love it. Love it.
So I think that's the difference.
Yeah. Okay. One of my favorites. I don't know if you're going to narrow it down or not. What is one of your favorite items on the menu or something that you offer?
What's my favorite item on the menu?
Everything egg
Everything
baked.
egg baked.
I like everything.
Okay, so I am a New Yorker at heart, so I do make the everything egg bagel.
What about cinnamon babka?
And my cinnamon babka, which I am going to be making next,
Okay.
is pretty amazing. If you like babka, is an Eastern European Danish, and I make the cinnamon filling, and we fill it with all sorts of yumminess, and it's so good. I have two favorite Italian things on the menu. I don't actually like a lot of pastry, believe it or not. I just like to make it. But the sfogliatellas,
Okay.
some people call them shells, some people beehives. What's that in the case? Because they can't say it. It's a flaky pastry, and it's filled with a citrus ricotta filling, which is just super uber yummy. And one day I was just sitting outside, and I decided to try one. Like, why is everybody going nuts? Because we have these. And I was like, damn, these are good. So, and then the other favorite thing, and it's not necessarily to eat, but it's just my cannolis. When we do have labels for the cannolis, the original plain normal cannoli will be called the Scrooge.
Okay.
And that is after my dad. My dad loved cannolis. When he was at the end, he was sick and was diagnosed with cancer, and very quickly he had passed away. When he was in the hospital, the only thing he would eat were cannolis.
Oh wow.
So I would bring him cannolis, and so I call him the Scrooge. So that's my favorite thing on the menu to have, just because of him.
Right. Exactly. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I looked for in your case.
Was it cannoli?
No,
The sfogliatella?
yeah, I've never heard him call that before. I called them ladylocks.
Ladylocks.
Yeah.
Someone asked me for a ladylocks once before, but that was more like a cream one. A ladylock, I thought.
Yeah, I've had them with a whipped filling.
Okay. And that would be like our lobster tail. So our lobster tails is the same pastry, but we fill the lobster tails with either whipped cream, chocolate whipped cream, Italian buttercream. I make pastry cream, cannoli filling. Like, we fill it with all that stuff.
Yeah. Great.
How fun. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite. So I measure everything out. That's why I got the.
Here.
Everything's made by hand, so there's no inconsistencies.
Right.
No two things are ever going to look the same here. But I at least try to get the exact same size and weight on stuff, which is why I didn't put those other two cheese Danish.
Right.
But I measure all of my stuff to be a certain size, and so anyway, that's my.
I know you said you've just been open for about 40 some days,
Yeah.
but how do you give back to the community?
Well, I do have goals for what I would ultimately like to do with the bakery. Ultimately, so I've been really, really fortunate in life. The Army gave me a good retirement, a good career, and so other than opening a business, there's little that I've never wanted for anything in life. I've always been lucky. So I personally have an issue with food insecurity in the United States. So I have an ultimate goal of making enough money to start a foundation locally for food insecurity. And I also really got a lot personally out of attending Sandhills Community College. So I got to use the vocational rehabilitation program to go to school. And I would like to eventually start a scholarship fund for students to go to culinary school, because that was always a dream of mine, to go to culinary school. Right. So that's what I would like to do.
Okay.
Right now, if we can afford it, we'll support the local community any way we can. We have a cake that's going to an elementary school for their 5th grade graduation next week.
Wow.
They contacted me, and we're making the graduation cake for the next Special Forces graduation class. Any way I can support the community and still, as a new business, not get in over my head, it's definitely a goal of mine. I like to give back. I actually have a master's degree. I thought I would be working in the nonprofit sector, and I actually just got my master's from the University of San Diego in nonprofit management. So I'm very big on giving back any way you can. To the veteran community, to kids, to the foster community, anything we can. So we try not to have any waste, and if we have waste that we just can't help, we had waste for the first time the other day actually, and we brought it over to the senior center down the street. So they don't get out much. This way they can enjoy some snacks, I guess. But anyway, we can give back. We'd like to try anyway. So
That's great.
yeah.
Best compliment your business has received. You're still growing, so 40 days, you gotta have something.
No, like this community has been so complimentary. It's been insane. What's the best thing? I have to think for a second. Someone told me something, and I'm like, that's the greatest compliment ever. What was it? Can't remember specifically. My brain doesn't work so good sometimes. But what the best compliment to me is that when people come in here and they say it reminds them of home, because we have a lot of the products that you would get up in New York. It's kind of neat because I remember on deployments, when you got to go to the big bases, they always said like AV's brought the taste of home. And when you're a million miles away from home and you can get something that reminds you of home. So when people say this is the best I've had since I've lived up north or something like that, or it reminds them of home, that is a great compliment to me because there's no, Dorothy said it best, there's no place like home. So, so if I can, I love being here, but if I can remind somebody of like the nice days when we all live, when most of us who come in or lived up north, and I remember Christmas mornings, even though we are the Jewish family and my dad was Catholic, on Christmas morning we'd go to the local bagel shop, and the police officers would be in the street directing traffic by the churches, and you throw a bagel and a coffee at them, or just having those memories. And someone said this reminded them of being. Someone just said today they came in and asked what a cookie was. And she said, I haven't seen those since I was a kid. And she had white hair. And it was really neat. So, I love being able to bring people good memories from their time up north.
Great. Beyond your business, where would you recommend somebody go and visit in Moore County?
Oh, my God, that's so hard.
You can do more than one. A lot of people do more than one.
So I say it's hard because I haven't really lived here. So I don't know what I don't know yet.
She's gonna learn by watching our channel.
Yeah, I don't get out much. I had only been here a couple of months when my dad passed away, and then I left for 7, and then I came back, and this all started. So I don't know. I do know I love Reservoir Park. So if you like to go for a walk or a jog, that was like my place that I really enjoyed. Otherwise, I really couldn't tell you because I don't know anything either. My favorite Italian restaurant locally is Lisi, because they actually have things that from the Italian side people have heard of when I ask for stuff. So I do enjoy that. I will tell you, if you don't come out to West End and you're in Pinehurst or Southern Pines or Aberdeen, I will tell you, if you're looking for a pretty decent experience and really decent food, I'm really impressed with the lake house out here. I drive by it. The parking lot's always full. The service is great. The owners are good.
They do have a good burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their fries and I'll stop in there after I leave here some days, grab a beer or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so out here, I would highly recommend that. I absolutely love Casa Garcia in Carthage.
Mm-hmm.
Jose has a wonderful family style environment for Mexican food.
Yep.
I am kind of a snob when it comes to pizza, so I'm still searching for that great New York pizza.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure I'll find it eventually, but you don't get a butt like this by not finding pizza. So.
Love it.
But yeah, it's so I do want to. I like going to the village in Pinehurst and just having that open area.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm still learning.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you gave us great places to visit and try. So I'm at my last question of the interview, and this is all for you and your business.
Okay.
So tell everybody who you are, where you are, 30-second commercial, what you want our viewers to know. Oh boy.
Wow. So it is DeLucia's Bake Shop. That's how you say it. I take pride in my last name. It was the best thing my dad ever gave me. So it is said DeLucia. It's Italian. It's not Spanish. It's not. So DeLucia's Bake Shop. We're in West End. We are the bakery that you want to go to if you need a wedding cake, a birthday cake, a divorce cake, a baby shower cake. If you want to just come in, we have a couple regulars. Just come in, have a cup of coffee, and get to know us. We have a few volunteers that came in the week we opened and haven't left, and they'll come in and fold boxes. We just want to be good members of the community who provide really good products. Hopefully a gym will open up around here because people say that we're bad for them, but they keep coming back, and we appreciate that. I just ask everyone who has the ability to support small business, whether it be me or G. Charles or any other local bakery. There's enough business to go around. We all know each other. We're all friends. And I just want everyone to know if they're not happy with a product to let me know, and I'll make it right. If they are happy with a product, do a Yelp review. But yeah, I don't know. We are a European bakery with a New York attitude and Southern hospitality. So
I love that. I just simply love that.
That's the only thing I guess I can really, I can say about us. That,
yep. And you have a Facebook page.
Okay, so I don't have. Okay, yeah. So I have a Facebook page. I don't have a website. We link our Facebook to Instagram. We cannot accept orders over Facebook. We cannot always respond to Facebook. The best way to get a hold of us is literally to stop in and ask questions and place an order. We have 3 employees, me, my business partner, and Grandma Michelle, who works on the counter. So we don't even always have the opportunity. We are literally just getting our phones working. So that's a big deal to let people know is that the best way to get a hold of us is just stop in and chat with us. We'll always stop to talk to you, but I can't always stop what I'm doing to answer a phone. And a lot of times people will message me all night long. I wake up at 3 a.m. I can assure you, if I'm answering your message on Facebook at midnight, I'm probably sleep texting.
Yeah. Great. So what is this that you're making?
So this is going to be the babka. And if you give it a minute, I'll show you how it looks. You're going to think it's so super cool. Let me see. So I weigh all of this at 12 ounces. And then what I'm going to do is I'll make one real fast so you can see how it gets done. Roll it out. Flour here. So I make this with chocolate and I make a chocolate one and I make a cinnamon one. That should be
Chocolate is my weakness.
let me tell you, normally I would have been down for the chocolate one, but we made the cinnamon one last week, and literally Chelsea and I like ate it on cinnamon.
Oh my god.
It was because someone had complained about a previous one.
Uh-huh.
They sent me a message and they were really nice about it. They were like, "Hey, you might want to taste your product. Your vodka was really dry," and I was like, "No." So we made it again last week.
Uh-huh.
And I did change a few things, so I appreciate them sharing. And it was the best damn thing.
Wow.
So this is how we make vodka. So this is a cinnamon filling that I made. But I have a spatula over here. I guess I don't. Just use this. Take the cinnamon filling.
Oh my. I can smell the cinnamon from here.
I really thought I had a spatula on the table. Spread the cinnamon out. This is why I say everything's going to look a little different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I make 3 of these, none of them are going to look the same. Then I'm going to take my cake pops. Literally crumb up cake. I'm going to ask you to hand me that. Yep. Take the cinnamon sugar. Roll it up.
Oh my.
Take some raisins. Roll it up.
I'm gonna leave here with a bigger butt than I came in.
Then we can do is roll it. So when you cut into it, you get a very nice swirl, hopefully.
And that's one.
This is just one. Yeah. Sometimes people say, you know, if a price is high, why is the price high? Well, this is just one product, right? So this takes time. And then I'm going to ask you to hand me one of those pins. This one, yep. And then one of those pieces, and then the paper next to it. This right here. Cut this. Break it.
Wow.
Put it in here.
That's more like a meal for two.
It's really good. And then I'll take a little bit more cinnamon sugar, sprinkle it on top. I'll put it in the proof box. It'll rise, and then we'll bake it, and it'll be about that high. And
Wow.
And I'll send you a picture of what it looks like after it bakes,
Okay.
so you can see.
Perfect. And I'll
Yeah.
I'll put it in the comments.
Okay.
So.
You want to try?
Sure.
Come on this side. Put some flour down. Alright, so that's yours. Nice. What you do is you're just going to kind of push it down. Flip it over a little bit so you get flour on both sides. And then you've got a rolling pin right there.
Baker oven.
Take the baby bowl. And what you're just going to do is you're just going to try and make a nice little rectangle out of it. And if it starts sticking, just flip it over because there's flour on both sides. Put a little bit of flour on top of that so your rolling pin doesn't stick to it. There you go. There you go. Yeah, so
Never had an interactive interview
there you
before.
go. We'll teach anybody. Told you we were looking for a paper. So you get a nice little square out of that.
It's kind of round.
one more push long. There you go. Nice. Alright. Now we're going to take a little bit of cinnamon. Give it a nice scoop. One more. Give everybody enough cinnamon to taste. Take your scraper. Just get it as, think about eating something. You want the edges to have just as much flavor as the center, right?
Right.
Push it out.
It's my gripe about a peanut butter and jelly
There
sandwich.
you go. You got to get the peanut butter all the way to the end. There you go.
Oh, that's so perfect.
You can't hurt it. You have to be gentle. There you go. You can scrape some of it off if it's too much.
Oh, that looks so
Because all that's going to do is smooth out the sides a little bit. There you go. Take a little bit off, just like that. Nice. So we'll put a little bit back in the container. A little bit so it doesn't come out the sides. Then take your cake crumbs right next to you. And you can put that pan right here. We'll just break up some cake. It's still frozen. Try and get it all over. Nice crumbs. Take some cinnamon sugar. Evenly sprinkle it across. And then I'll turn mine sideways.
Okay.
You can turn it sideways, and what you want to do is you want to push down your crumbs so they don't fall off. And then take it on the bottom, just roll it up. It's like you're making Play-Doh. And roll it all up so when you cut into it, you get a nice swirl. And then at the end, you want to make sure close that seam up so it doesn't bust open in the oven.
Oh, there you go.
Good. You can also go like this if it's easier. Push it down so it stays. And then give it a little bit of a roll. Now you're closed. So now what you're going to do is you take the scraper and put it right down the middle. So when I put the paper in, I try to open it up a little bit, just so when I put it in, it doesn't close down. So now you take your bottom piece and you meet in the middle. So just cross over, just do like a little 2-piece braid. There you go. And come to the other side and do it there. Get that nice pretty look. And then what you can do is just kind of, there you go. Yep. And then with this side, because it's so long, we're just going to close the edges, push it back in a little bit so it fits in. Pick it up, stick it right in. Oh, I forgot to put the raisins. That's okay, not everyone likes raisins. So we do make some with and without raisins.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
we keep these separate for the customers who don't like raisins. Put a little more cinnamon on top. And then there you go, you just made your first muffin.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah. Sink up there.
How fun, how fun. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for sharing. I want to invite everybody out to
Cheers.
DeLucia's for some fresh bakeries. Make sure you get the one that I made too.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. If you have any real estate needs, please reach out to me directly. Stay tuned for your next video, and until then, I see you living in Moore County.